Hey everyone, welcome to the Oasis Podcast. I'm your host, Miss AJ. Thanks for tuning in. An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or a pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you will find tuning into the Oasis Podcast. This is a space where I and special guests will be cultivating intentional and honest conversations about life's journey. Subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts and watch us on YouTube now.
Hey y'all, hey! And thank you again for joining me on another episode of the Oasis Podcast. I am so grateful to have you joining me again. It is May. Glorious, glorious May. And May is filled with so much for me. This May especially. But in general, May is, of course, the month of my sugar baby's birthday. I have a lot of birthdays this month. And this episode, though, is in honor of Mother's Day, because that's also this month. And I want to talk about what lessons I've learned thus far. Every time I think about it, it makes me go, what? But my sugar baby is about to be 2 years old. And I'm like, 2 years where? But at the same time, yeah, you know, I keep telling people it is fast. Time moves so fast, but also slow. But also you're like, keep going. But also like, no, stop. Such a weird, I guess, relationship with time now, to be honest. And I wanted to take the time to focus on just lessons learned in these 2 years of motherhood in honor of Mother's Day coming up. Whew. I'm also going to do another episode about what my toddler has taught me in these 2 years, but I'll do that after this episode. Let's get into it. So let me start out by saying that I see how a lot of people were just maintained and not raised. In previous episodes, not probably this past year or so, but in previous episodes, when talking about dating and such, you're like, you encounter these people that you know, this person wasn't love, right? Like this person, just something is off about them. Either their attachment style is off, or there's something about them, and you're like, yeah. And when you talk to them and you see how they were raised and such, you're like, okay, you weren't raised, you were maintained. There were adults who like made sure you ain't die, but they didn't do more than that. And now being a mother, I see how that is possible. Like I see how that is done. And a lot of people in this world are really are just maintained. They're not raised. You know, this motherhood shit is hard. You feel me? And it's so much easier just sitting a kid in front of the TV or just making them someone else's problem, essentially, right? And only providing them the necessities so that you're not looked as being neglectful, right? But real mothering is challenging. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. And it's a type of hard, just like healing from trauma, just healing from your past, that people choose not to do. They'll do the soft version of it. They'll do some kind of version of it, but they don't fully go ass in, full throttle. And it makes sense. Where it's like, well, you got a roof over your head, you got clean clothes, and you got food. That's all I need to do. And a lot of people, I feel, that's what I mean by being maintained. Where being raised involves so much more, right? Being raised because it's an honor of mothers and Mother's Day. So I'm coming from a mother's perspective. Being raised requires you, I guess it can be applied to parenthood in general, but in all honesty, it requires you. It's a real challenge because it requires you and it forces you to better yourself every day, right? And you just can't give up. There's a lot of days that you just want, like, you're tired because you got your own stuff going on, child. Listen, your hormones, or you're just fatigued, or it's work, or it's a relationship, or it's money. So much. And it's like I said, it's easy because the child is like this extra thing that you have to pay attention to. Again, those who decide, you know what, I'm just going to maintain this person. I'm going to do what's necessary. And again, I'm not passing judgment. I just get it now. I'm not passing judgment, and I've chosen to make a different choice. And that's the part of it being challenging. Just like healing, you have to choose every day to heal. You have to choose every day to be better. You have to choose every day to stay in your healed journey, right? It's easy to go back. It's easy to do those past behaviors because they're easy. They're what we know, right? It's easy to default into that. When you are being focused on mothering, like truly mothering, focused on truly parenting, focused on making sure your child is raised and not just like passed along and just coming along for the ride, but being part of the journey. Ooh, baby. It's a challenge. Every damn day you just have to show up. Even when you don't know what's going to show up because there ain't nothing left to show up. And it's hard as hell. You know what I mean? And it's really difficult. So I get why so many people are maintained, because unfortunately a lot of people haven't done the work before having children. They haven't decided to become parents. They just decided to have a baby, which a lot of people do, because babies are cute, right? But they don't realize babies become toddlers become adolescents become teens, preteens, they become young adults, then they become adults, right? There's many stages of life, and people just focus on the baby part. And once they hit those snags and they realize the weight of the responsibility, people just, they default back into their, all right, let me just do what's necessary. Or people just fall into survival mode, because that is also something that a lot of people are just in, and they don't even realize that they're just surviving and they're not thriving, right? They're surviving and not living a fulfilled life. They're just getting by, and then now they have children and they just drag those kids along into that survival journey. Yeah, no. I understand it, but I had to make a decision early on, after having my daughter, that I'm not going to do that, because that's not what I wanted before having my daughter, right? And so we all know, but those of you who have been part of this journey for me know that my daughter was intentional from both parties, mother and father, even though only one of us decided to have a baby and then one of us decided to be a parent. But we both decided, to have her. And in that decision, I gave it many years of thought, to be honest with you. I was signing up for parenthood, right? I was signing up for motherhood. Now, as things, went the way they went in the relationship, it did blur my vision a little bit. I was just focused on like the failing of the quote unquote family aspect that I thought I was gonna have. That's what I signed up for. I didn't sign up to do motherhood alone, and that blurred my vision. But I had to get back to myself and realize, just because you don't have the partner you thought you was gonna have, this quote unquote family vision that you thought you was gonna have, doesn't mean you ain't still a mother. You need to show up exactly how you wanted to show up. This is why you made the decision to become a mom. You would not have done it if you didn't feel that you were ready to do it, right? That you were capable mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You wouldn't have done it. Yes, financially and the others. And I think people think about, well, not fully about how much it would cost, but that's the main thing people think about when they have kids. But it's so much more than that. And so I did that work, that thorough work to make sure I was ready. And I'm so grateful that I did, because I can see if I didn't do that work, how I would have defaulted into just maintaining my child. and not doing the work to raise her. And I'm grateful that I did that. And I'm coming from a perspective of, I planned this baby, so I can't even imagine adults who just like, it just happened. You know what I'm saying? I planned to have this child, I planned to have a family, and I planned to be a mother, and what that role consists of. And as we talked about in other episodes, unfortunately, and in society, people think mothers is just supposed to do it all, right? And in a lot of ways, unfortunately, parenthood is not equitable, especially in the early years. Parenthood really falls on mothers. And you can have a supportive partner that can assist and be very helpful, but there's just a lot of things that he or they won't be able to do because really only you can do it. But the reality of the situation is outside of it, that piece of it. Society and people just think you're just supposed to do it all, not complain, be a superhero. And, life is just going to, go back to normal. And not only now are you maintaining.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by the demands of life? Motherhood? At AJO Consulting Services, LLC, we offer comprehensive wellness services that include personalized coaching, doula care, consulting, and personal professional development to help you navigate this beautiful yet challenging phase of life. Our services are designed to support individuals and communities, especially women, birthing people, and families of color, in creating a more joyful and stress-free experience. From family planning to postpartum care, we provide the tools and resources you need to thrive. Let AJO Consulting Services help you prioritize your well-being and create a healthier, happier future for yourself and your family.
A whole new human life. You're supposed to maintain yours, and you're supposed to make everybody else's life around you easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and you're supposed to go back to work and be normal and regular. No. There's no way, and I'm saying this, and I mean it. There's no way you can equally juggle all those things. Something is going to suffer. Something's going to go by the wayside. Something has to take a step back. And I had to make a decision that I'm still a mother. I chose to be a mother. I chose to have this child, not because I like babies, because I know the work of children. I've been around tons of kids. So I knew the work of it. Granted, of course, when it's your own child, it's times 10, but I knew the work of it. So I wasn't in love with the idea of a baby. So I signed up for this, and I'm like, you knew what it consisted of. You knew the type of way you wanted your child to be raised. You know how the things you wanted to provide so that they can be the people they came on this earth to be. And yes, it's challenging. It's very challenging. And I think the most challenging part is juggling taking care of yourself fully without neglecting yourself, right? And fully taking care of your child without also neglecting them. But it's something that so many mothers do. They show up and they do. And again, not judging those who just are maintaining their child, but I'm shouting out those who are doing more than maintaining their child. I see y'all. That right there, and I think just like all things have their ideal, that right there is the ideal look and feel of motherhood. And I see you guys. In these 2 years, another thing is I've never prayed so much in my life until after I had my daughter. That's from the moment you are pregnant up until ever. It doesn't lessen as they get older. So granted, I'm assuming you have a healthy pregnancy, you have a healthy birth, you have a healthy child. You still are like so concerned, right, with their well-being, that especially because they cannot be with you 24/7. I've been blessed that I've spent almost all my daughter's days with her, and I'm grateful for that. But when they're not around you, because you need moments to yourself, you need to work, you need to whatever you need to do, you are in a state of like Are they safe? Are they okay? All of this. You got to pray, child. Those are the times where you're like, all right, I'm going to need, I believe in God, so that's why I pray to you. But those who believe in, another entity, another being, you got to pray to whatever you believe in, right? Like, you got to be like, hey, y'all, I'm tag teaming you. You got this now. Okay? So much prayer. Oh my God. And of course, some of this comes with postpartum depression. It's categorized under postpartum depression, but it's postpartum anxiety. Of course, it makes you bring go and you're like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And for me, what is helpful in calming those anxieties was praying, knowing that it's above me. There's a higher being. I got my spirit team. They taking care of me and this baby. Girl, so go ahead and do what you're doing because she's going to be all right, And so I had to entrust in that. Now, it took some time fully for it to give me full peace and calm. And even then, there's still a level of better be all right. But it's helpful. And I haven't done nothing in my life compares to how much I pray now. Any moment that she's away from me, even when she's with me, you just find yourself like, oh, I pray that I'm doing a good job, right? I pray that I'm giving her the things she needs. I pray she's happy. I pray that she's well, if they're sick or something. Like, you just constantly just like praying and just want to make sure that they're okay and that things are okay and you're doing what's needed. And you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's also something that I've learned over these past 2 years. And, if you come from women, family that pray, it makes sense when they used to say those things, or you would see them constantly praying and like the littlest things they used to like, oh, thank God, or like things like that. You're like, okay, now I get it. I get it. This whole process has been healing from my own inner child. Those of you who don't even know what inner child is, I really don't want to get into all that, but you can honestly look this stuff up. But when you're doing a lot of therapy work, what is it called? Inner family systems. We have like an inner family system. The inner child is essentially the part of yourself that you are, the part of your young self that you're stuck at, right? Where maybe some type of trauma occurred to you and you revert to that age when certain things happen. Or you just are functioning from that age. A lot of people are just functioning from that age. Some people, depending on what happens, they might revert back to that age. So again, you can look that up to get a little more understanding. But I, in my therapy journey, deal with a therapist who deals with family systems. And so that's something that we worked on and have worked on. And also those who are on social media and y'all see or y'all follow a lot of therapists or things of that nature, you see a lot of things that is like, oh wow, how parenthood or motherhood really helps you. Like, as you parent, you are parenting your inner child. Like, as you are able to give your child what they need and want, it's like you were able to give yourself the things you needed and wanted when you were that age or when you were a child. And it's very true. It's very, very true. As I go through the ups and downs, the growing pains of raising a child and a very strong-willed, child, Lord. I, of course, see myself all up in and through her. And I see how it's not handled correctly. I could really, make her less of herself, and I don't want to do that. I can see how that was done to me. How that level of confidence and surety and headstrongness and how that, pushed down and into submission, so you can fit into a box. I don't want to do that. And if it's healing to my inner child, it's freeing to my inner child, to let her be, to let her shine, to let her grow. And that's a part of the process that I've heard about, I've read about, but I am seeing, come to pass. And I think you see more of it. You do see it and feel it when they're babies, but it's more of the sense of like, you're able to like nurture them and provide them what they need. And if you didn't get that when you were younger, yes. And you get to give them hugs and kisses. But as they get older, it's just in a different way, when their like personalities are coming out and you're seeing they're able to move and function as true individual beings. That's when I think a lot of it comes out and comes to surface for sure. And, not without getting into much details, that's happened for me in raising her, and I've made peace with a lot of things with my inner child, and it's a real beautiful thing. It is. It's a really, truly beautiful thing. Another lesson for me in these 2 years is showing myself areas that I need to pour love into myself. And in having this person relying on me, it's just magnified how much I need to pour into myself, like how much I need to take care of myself. It's easy in motherhood to get lost in the sauce of taking care of another child. And I think I was extremely cognizant of that before having the child, because I used to say I am very nurturing, but let's call a spade. And I was raised to be a people pleaser. And in my people pleasing, I would just overly do too much for people and show up too much for people. And these niggas, these people ain't ask for all that, but I'm just giving and depleting myself. And again, of course, through therapy, I learned, you can give and give the level that is comfortable for you, but do not go past this point, right? Do not go past the point where you are depleting yourself and you have nothing left to give yourself. And so I was cognizant of this prior to having a baby. I know how you can get lost in the sauce of motherhood, again, just seeing it. And again, there's a level and an age and such where like you just have to be fully involved, but you have to keep yourself at the forefront as well. Again, not easy, but it needs to be done. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot be depleted and think you're going to show up fully for anything and anybody. You're doing a disservice to not only yourself, but you are doing a disservice to your child. Like you are. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Think, I'm doing this and doing this. Trust me, that kid can see. And eventually when they get old enough, they can verbalize, like, you did too much, in the sense of you didn't take care of yourself. Your health is declining. You did so much that you now walking around all raggedy and all tired. Now your health is declined. Now, you're alone. You're lonely because you don't have a social life, or you just so pent up with your own emotions that you didn't take care of, and now you're taking yourself out on other people and that child. Like, it manifests and shows up in different ways. And so don't think you're doing a favor for your kid, because you're not. Okay, like you need to make yourself a priority alongside that child. And it's the littlest things that kind of highlight that for me. And so, yeah, I made sure that, I'm going to give my baby all the things, whatever she needs. However, I also need to take care of myself and not get lost in that sauce. But it's the little things that make me, that kind of magnifies that for me, if that makes sense. And so an example of that is simply just caring for her hair. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my daughter has type 3 hair. I haven't identified exactly which type, because she has like when it's wet and then when it's not, whatever, right? But again, me, when my hair was loose natural, child, I wasn't, I what? Hair type what? Right? And these things were like a thing when, I was pre-motherhood and all that stuff. But I didn't care for all that, child, whatever. And finding the right products for her hair and like making sure this and making sure that. I didn't pour into myself in that way as much as I did for, and I am doing for my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Granted, yes, she cannot do it herself. But I could have easily just been like, well, this is what I used when I was younger. All right. Or this is what I know. All right. Or just not put the attention or care into it. But I am doing that for her. And in doing that for her, it's making me go, I wonder. Let me try XYZ for myself. Let me do. And it makes me feel good. Like, it makes me feel like, oh, we're going on this, hair journey together. Like, we're doing this thing together. And so it's little things like that I catch. And I go, oh, look at that. Look how me doing this for her is making me look into how I can better take care of myself as well. And that's what I mean. Like, taking care of her is helping me pour into myself. Another thing I've learned at this 2-year point thus far is keeping my boundaries strong is important, not just for her, but also for me. I talked about this as well, of having to put in boundaries with certain people at certain times and all this stuff. And it has brought us a level of peace that I know would not be here if I didn't put these boundaries up and keep them up, to be honest with you. People really feel entitled to you, your time and your space. I laugh because it is insane to me. It really is insane to me, the entitlement of certain people. I don't function like that, so it's hard for me. I don't default to that thinking just because you're my sister or my mother or my family member or this, that I just have all access to. Like, not even my own mama do I do that to. And I'm not even going to say my mother necessarily put up strong boundaries. There are things you just knew not to do, right? Of course, growing up in a Caribbean household. But I'm talking about in regards to her, the only thing she really made strong boundaries about when we were growing up was do not bother her when she was sleeping. Okay? Because that would not be good for you. But outside of that, especially into adulthood stuff, no. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not something that she enforced, that, that I was like, oh yeah, that I have to do. No, it's out of respect for that person's individual needs and life. I'm not entitled to them. I'm not entitled to their time. Just because she birthed me doesn't mean I can show up at her house when I want to. Just because, like as if she ain't got her own thing. As if, you know what I mean? Like, some people, they automatically think like that, especially when it comes to a parent. But I'm talking about, one, I don't feel like that's okay. That's just me, period. But two, I'm just like, you're not entitled to anybody but yourself. And even then, some people don't even. Like, you're not even invested enough in yourself to even be that entitled to yourself. But it's like, no, you're not entitled to me just because I had a baby for you. No, you're not entitled to my diet just because you're related to this baby. No, just because I had a baby doesn't mean I have a revolving door. No, I do not have to engage in things just because you feel like I should. No, it's a no. It's a no. And when I say that there's so much freedom in that, there's so much peace that comes to it. And motherhood itself carries so much guilt, because yes, I'm saying this now very confidently, but it took me, like I told y'all, it took me a minute to get here, because there was this level of like, oh, I gotta do it because these people, this, blah, 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 and all the baby, and that girl needs you, that child needs you to put in boundaries, because they don't know them. Granted, my baby don't play with her boundaries, but we'll talk about that in time. Again, she continues to teach me, to be honest. But you are supposed to be protecting her. And if the things that people are doing is not protecting her, just like honestly, intentionally and blatantly disrespecting you, that is not something and someone that you need around your kid, because that's not going to make you feel good. And if you're not going to feel good, you're not going to show up good for you, yourself, or your child. So please keep that in mind. If that person is putting in that work, that person is respectful, that person respects your boundaries, that is the only time they should have access to you. They're not entitled to anything. No one is entitled to anything but you. And honestly, once your kid gets older, them too, as they're getting older, you should, as a mother, put up boundaries. They should not have all access to you. And I stand firm on that. Yeah. You want privacy. You want your own respect. If you're in the bathroom, from when they're small, you got to start. No, you can't come to the bathroom. Now, there's some, of course, at age they're not going to understand this. But once they have that level of understanding, hey, mommy needs privacy. That's not okay. Some toddlers like to hit. My daughter likes to hit. That's not okay. You're not allowed to just hit mommy like that, right? You're not allowed to push me. You're not allowed to just, whatever they do, if they're interrupting you, if you're trying to have a phone call, do work or whatever, be like, hey, mommy needs you to do this because mommy's doing this, and so you can't interrupt me. Like, those are boundaries. We might not understand that. You might see them as discipline, but it's boundaries. So they know, oh, okay, when my mom is doing this, I need to wait. Or it can be something as simple as, don't just come up to me and shove me or grab on me or start crying or want me to pick you up, right? You could be like, hey, say mommy, I need da-da-da-da. And so they learn, okay, mommy doesn't understand when I do these things, what this means. I need to say her name and then give her a directive. All these are important, starting from when they're young, so that as they get older, there's a level of regard there. And I know y'all see it. When people and their parents don't have boundaries, you see these grown adults and how they interact. You've seen it, child. You've seen it. Okay? If that's not what you want, I suggest start putting boundaries in with your children. And for my mothers out there, this is why you're feeling extra depleted. If you don't have boundaries, kids go, because that's what they do. This is their function at this point. They're gonna take. They're gonna take it all. You need something for yourself. Put in the boundaries. If your boundary is in the morning, again, depending how old they are, depends if you have a village, depends if you have people there helping you, etc. You could be like, in the morning, mommy needs half an hour, or when mommy comes home, you get half an hour or a certain amount of time that you can do some things for yourself. I was actually once, and I think this was many moons ago, before I was even thinking about having children, but I dated a guy, and I mean, he was living at home, and he was saying that his mom, and actually, I mean, I would come over his house and I would see it, but there's something that he did tell me. She had a sign on her door that says, it was something along the lines of, if this door is closed, or like, I think it was a window of time that I am in prayer. So do not knock on the door, do not call out to me or whatever, unless of course there's an emergency, right? Unless there's an emergency, someone's about to die, there's a fire, right? And she had that on her door, and she had to put that up there for her kids to know, this is my time. If there is no dire need, give me my time. And I love that. Like, I saw that and I loved that. This is before I even had the language of what boundaries were or anything like that. And I'm like, to see that, I thought that was amazing. And that actually still sits with me. And I'm like, that's important. Your time doesn't belong to everyone else and not to you. You need to keep pushing up that time to yourself. Again, not only is it essential for you, it's essential for your children, because you are also showing them how to create boundaries for themselves. You are showing them that their time is valuable. You are showing them that no, everyone is not entitled to them, not their body especially. That is something that I'm definitely, one, my daughter don't play that, but I'm definitely enforcing with her. No one's entitled to your body, meaning you ain't got to hug nobody, you ain't got to kiss nobody, you ain't got to do none of that. But also, your time. You ain't got to give your time to somebody if you don't want to. You don't have to share your space with someone if you don't want to. And that's even with me. Because one, like I said, she's very clear. She don't want to hug you, she ain't fit to do it. You get too close to her, she gonna push you, baby. Okay? And she's been like that. But even with me, if I be like, I lean in, I'm like, if I try to kiss her without giving her a warning, she'd be like, you know what I'm saying? And she'll like put her hand up. Again, 9 out of 10 times she'll let me do it. But that time where she's like, no, I say, okay, you right. And I go about my business. Or I'll be like, okay, I didn't ask you. Can mommy have a hug? Or can mommy do this? You know what I'm saying? And if she wants to, cool. If not, she'll be like, no, all right, girl, you got it. Because I need to set the example to show her that it's okay. Because you know how they like to do, women in society especially. They try to raise us up to not have boundaries so that we take whatever is given to us. Nah. But it's important for everyone to have boundaries. Boundaries is how you show how much you love yourself. Okay? And anybody who don't like those boundaries, baby, more than likely are people who shouldn't be in your life. Is anyone who respects you will respect your boundaries. Anyone who values you will value your boundaries. That's it. What is another thing that I've learned on this 2-year mark of motherhood is that honestly, before we even get there, but this one is important, baby. Expect to do it on your own. And y'all know I talked about this before, but this is a little bit different, I guess, than how I was talking about it before. No, maybe not that much different. Yeah. Listen, if you had a decent village when that baby was tiny, I want anyone who really had a big village and your child is now 2 and your village is still that big, leave a comment. And I say this to know that I'm not going to get a lot of them. Leave a comment and tell me, yeah, you know what? My village still stayed the same. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. Of course, I told y'all what my experience has been. I know people who recently had their children. They're a few months in and they're like, you know what, girl, you was right. All the people was telling me I have a baby. And all the people said they were going to be there when I was pregnant. I had this baby and nobody. Exactly. That village and them people, even if you had some numbers, that number dwindles substantially once that baby gets older. Okay? You want to know why? 2 main reasons. People love babies, but they don't love the kids they turn into. Okay? Which I told y'all about. People love babies. Babies are cute and they're this and they're that. But once they become a little bit older, they have their own personality. They're not as cute anymore. All those people who was at your job when you were expecting, or when you just had to have a baby, wanting to see pictures and this and that. Where the niggas at? They even ask you about your kids? Do they even acknowledge that your kids are still alive? Yeah, exactly. They like people. I don't know what it is. It's such a strange thing. It's your riders, your day ones, your reals that are going to honestly still be in your child's life past, let's say that, honestly, past that 6-month mark. People gonna fall off way before them, but past 6 months, when they become a big baby, people start to fall off. Let alone a year, child, please. So that's what I mean by expect to do it on your own. Your village will get so much smaller. And by village, those who actually are around regularly, they check up on you and the baby regularly, they actually watch your kid for you, they show up. Or if they want to do something with you, but you got your baby, they're not going to be like, oh, okay, well, you ain't got the kid. But they're like, no, let's go. That's what I mean. There's not going to be a lot of people who want to do that. There's not. It's not. And that's what I mean. So still expect that as that baby get older, less and less people are going to tap in to help. I'm just telling you. By child before 5, but I'm just giving 5 as a marker. By 5, you gonna see. Okay. If you're lucky, you probably had 2-3 people. If you're lucky at that point, who still is riding with you, and that baby, that baby knows them from birth and they was riding with them. Granted, I'm not a no new friends person. I think you can definitely meet new people and new friends and whatever the case is. And so hopefully you can meet new parents, new mommy friends, and you can meet new people who can be significant in your child's life. But I'm referring to those who from birth of your child to that point, if they still gonna be there. That's what I mean. 2 last things is that it does get easier. It gets easier in some ways. Of course, there are new challenges that arise as the child gets older. When they start to roll, new challenges. When they start to crawl, new challenges. But then it's easier, right? Because now they can move, and so they're not as frustrated they're stuck in one space, right? When they start to talk, that's oh, finally they get to communicate. But then it's also frustrating because they get frustrated because they talking to you, but you don't understand, because to you it sounds like gibberish. Right? I'm grateful for that because my daughter learned sign language very early, so I don't feel like we had a lot of communication meltdowns, to be honest. She was able to communicate the things she needed, and so that was not an area of I really didn't see that. And even now, she's like talking more. She's still not like talking like crazy full sentences, but she can express what she needs. My daughter was able to communicate without words, and by that meaning her body language, her actual like physical body. When she wants something, she made it clear. When she did, she made it clear. There was no confusion, and I'm so grateful for that. But it does get easier. I still don't get no sleep through the night because my daughter still breastfeeds. So that ain't, for me, it hasn't been easy. I am still exhausted. Pray for me, okay? But for other parents, from the newborn stage, your kid then starts to sleep, and if they're taking a bottle, then there's certain things that just become easier, that you don't have to worry about no more, right? They don't need as many diaper changes, and you know what I'm saying? If they are eating more, because again, that's still an uphill battle with my daughter of actually eating foods. And if your child is a child that eats normally, right? Or let's say regularly, then you know what? Now you can offer them new foods, and then you ain't got to worry about milk no more. You know what I'm saying? You can, that's what I mean. Like, in some ways, you don't have to worry about certain things anymore. And that's awesome. So like that heaviness and hardness of when you first had them, it's not exactly there anymore, right? That level of anxiety is not at that level anymore. Different things are now at the forefront of your mind, but there's a level of, I feel like, all right, I kind of got this. Okay. Like I feel good. Like I feel good in this. Like you are more settled into what it looks like mothering your child. And that in itself makes it easier. That's what I mean. That in itself makes it easier. New challenges come about, right? When they start to tease and they have a growth sprout, or that was called growth sprout. Sometimes you still get mommy brain. Whatever it is, things are going to come about, but you also have I feel more confidence that you can handle it. And I think that also makes it feel easier. You are more confident in your parenting as well. And lastly, for me, this is actually something that came up recently. Let me not say came up recently. This is something that I've embraced. I've allowed myself to embrace recently because, like I told y'all, I grew up people pleasing. I had to go through therapy and, learn boundaries and da-da-da-da-da. And this is before pregnancy. This is before, having to because healing is a forever journey. And sometimes you learn how to do something, you're doing it good, and a new situation is introduced and you kind of fall back into old habits. That's what happened to me when I got pregnant and after giving birth. And so I had to relearn to put up boundaries again. But I was good at acknowledging, okay, this is who I am. Yes, I did a lot of things out of people pleasing because that's how I was conditioned. But in reality, I enjoy, nurturing. I enjoy taking care of people and making sure they have what they need. But in motherhood, I don't know why, there was like a blockage that I was definitely doing it and giving my daughter the things, but I wasn't verbally or mentally allowing myself to acknowledge that, if that makes sense. But again, okay, because I'm just about 2 years in, so it could be my hormones too that was kind of like fogging up my brain and all that stuff. It's very true as well. So let me give myself grace. But I don't know, I just wouldn't let myself say it because I didn't want to be like, I say this and now I'm gonna so completely enmeshed, not be an individual in this process for myself. And so that could be the reason. But now, like I said, I have this level of confidence. My daughter knows she's an individual entity. Well, you know what? Let me not lie, because that's not always true. Because sometimes I think that girl trying to go back. Okay? And she thinks that I belong. I belong to her. Period. Okay? Let my sister tell it and let other people tell it. All right? I belong to her, and that's the end of that. But for the most part, she understands, mom is an individual person. She's an individual person. And like I said, things have gotten easier in a lot of ways. And so I've given myself the space and the permission to be like, I actually like this shit. Like, I enjoy taking care of her. Like, I enjoy nurturing her and providing for her. Oh, this might make me emotional. See her grow.
As a new mother, you deserve to focus on bonding with your baby and healing your body. Our compassionate postpartum doula services provides you with the support and care you need. From newborn care to light household chores, our doulas will allow you to rest, recover, and enjoy the precious moments with your little one. Benefits of our postpartum doula services are personalized care tailored to your specific needs, relief from household chores and newborn care, emotional support and guidance, increased bonding time with your baby. Experience the gift of rest and support with postpartum doula services at AJO Consulting Services now.
And seeing her thrive, it actually brings me a lot of joy. It makes me really happy. And I'm so proud of myself. I was not expecting to cry. I was not expecting to cry. But I'm so proud of myself. She is. Ooh. She's the best thing I've ever done. And I've done a lot of amazing things. And I continue to do a lot of amazing things. But I can admit that and feel good about that. She is so amazing. And to look at her and to be able to wake up and to see her face and see her enjoying her eyes and to know ooh, that, oh my God, that brings me so much joy. That makes me feel so good. I really do. I love providing for her. I love making sure that she's well taken care of and that she has everything that she needs. It's okay for me to admit that, and I'm admitting it out loud, admitting it to all of you guys. I love it. I love it. I don't want to do this again though. No, thank you. But the experience I'm having right now with her, I truly enjoy it. I love it so much. There's something about it that really gives me so much joy. It does. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. It truly is worth it. And I hope I can hold on to this feeling, because the way these kids be working your nerve, Lord. Let me try to hold on to that feeling and remember these parts, It's beautiful. It is. Just to look at her and to see her. And one of the best compliments anyone can give me. My daughter she's cute. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to toot my own horn, but toot. But I don't know. Does any parent think it ain't cute? I don't know. But let me not lie. When she was first born, I ain't gonna hold you. That's not what no one heard me say she was cute when she was. I'm gonna be honest, because she looked weird. That's how I felt. Okay, that's just how I felt. She didn't come out looking like how I thought she was. She was very pale. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of like, all right, but when kids first come out, they look a little weird. So I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna lie. But towards the 6 months mark, and 6 months and up, I'm like, okay, all right. I started like, okay, yeah, she cute. That's my baby. But of course, you hear people, oh, she's so pretty, or this, oh, she's so smart. But the best compliment that I've heard thus far is, every time I see her, she always has a smile on her face, and she's so happy. Oh, that's gonna make me emotional again. And that right there makes me know that I'm doing a good job. And to be doing this pretty much by myself, that really, really makes me feel good. Because yes, babies can show you what's happening in their home, right? If they are happy, if they're truly thriving. And that is something that makes me know that the sacrifice that I've made and continue to make for her just weren't in vain. And it gives me the fuel to keep going. It really does. It really, really does. I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And I want to give a huge happy Mother's Day shout out to all my mamas out there. You are amazing. You are a treasure to this world. Don't let anyone rob you of your experience. Don't let anyone minimize you, your feelings, what you are doing. Your job is one of the most important jobs, if not the most important jobs on this planet. Okay? I love you. I see you. Till next time.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Oasis Podcast. I hope you were able to find something that resonated with you on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts and YouTube. Rate us and leave us a review and comment on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and YouTube. Share your favorite episode and like us on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, want to be a guest, or any show ideas, contact us at ajaysoasis@gmail.com. That's AAYJAYSOASIS@gmail.com, or direct message us on Instagram and Facebook.